Hey, I think we are live now. If anybody can just say hi. Oh, yes, I can definitely see we are live now. Perfect, great. So, everyone, welcome back to my YouTube channel. This is Mitesh Khatri here, once again, your Law of Attraction coach. Today, we have someone special with us as a guest, which is Dr. Smita Dipankar. She is someone very specialist at anesthesia. She can make you unconscious like this with an injection if she wants to. But the important part that I want to introduce her as is a teenage life coach. So she's a life coach, specially for teenagers. She's a part of our platinum program. And as you know, every week, once in a week, we introduce people so that we can learn from inspiring stories rather than only learning from theories. And Dr. Smita is one of our most important platinum members who's really progressed at speed, which is inspiring. And that's why we are here, invited Smita here today. So, Dr. Smita, once again, congratulations and welcome to our YouTube channel. Thank you for being part of us. Thank you for your time and thank you for inspiring our YouTube audience.
Thank you. Thanks a lot, Mitesh. It's a really big privilege for me to be part of this and to be interviewed by you. It's a very big privilege. Thank you for allowing me to be here on the platform. Really happy about it.
Happy to have you. Everyone type in the chat window. Happy to meet you. And those of you who are meeting me for the very first time, my name is Mitesh Khatri. I and my wife, Indu Khatri, we are law of attraction coaches. We've been training people on the topic of law of attraction for about 17 years now, touched more than 1 million people. This is our book, The Law of Attraction. And now we'll talk about our platinum program where Dr. Smita is part of the program. So while we are starting with your story, Smita, do you want to first maybe introduce yourself a little bit as a coach, as a doctor?
Okay. So basically, I am an anesthesiologist by profession. Been in practice for almost more than 19 plus years. And that was always been my passion to become a doctor and help a lot of people. Doing that, I'm a mother of a teenager and now diversified more into my being life coach for teenagers, which is my passion. It started when my daughter went into teenage and I was searching someone to coach her, but I couldn't find someone. So that's the time I progressed into it and I became a life coach and got certified internationally to become the first life coach in India because there are life coaches all around here. It's more of you, as you know, for corporates, for millennials, for all those people, but specifically oriented to teenagers. And even if they are there, they talk about career guidance, counseling, or psychology treatments, therapy, and all. So that's not what I work with. I work with helping them to understand, build up their self-esteem, enhance their academic performance, interest, not performance. And also my specialty is building, creating a bond, a strong relationship between parents and teenagers, because there is always a distance which is created when the child enters teenage. So being a parent and a mother as well as a life coach, I work to reduce that gap between parents and teenagers, and that's my journey.
Life coaching for teenagers makes a lot of sense. So tell us a little about how do you know me? How did law of attraction as a topic come in your life? How did you start knowing me as a law of attraction coach?
Okay, so I am associated with Ambient Network 21, and our co-mentors Prem and Geeta introduced us to your book, The Law of Attraction. And he basically made it a point that we read everything and worked on our goals in the networking business and wellness industry. And through him, he organized, Prem and Geeta Pillai, they actually organized a webinar in Mumbai, where that is the first time I met you and Indu. And it was absolutely fabulous. But even before that, he had given us a link about your YouTube, the first law of attraction which you recorded, and we had been listening to that almost every single day for a year or so, and then we had the privilege to meet you. That was how we were ingrained with the law of attraction practice. And I even joined your Facebook group, which initially you had started after that. So that's how I worked on it. The basic idea, the best part that connected me with you is the simplicity with which you explain law of attraction, because I am an avid reader, read Secret and did a lot of things with law of attraction, but the way you understood, and it is more of practical law of attraction rather than working on a day-to-day basis, so I could understand it, and simplicity, and that actually inspired me to even make my book, The Simplifying Teenage, to be very simple. It's more of an inspiration from you, so I can know कि कितना simply लोगों को समझा सकते हैं. So that's how I got connected to you. And I think in March you had put up that you're starting a digital coaching training system. And that's the time when the COVID hit and all the situations were happening. And I just registered because it was your webinar. I just registered. And in that you mentioned about digital coaching, and maybe it was like, it's the same thing, law of attraction working in your favor. I was looking out for something to promote my life coaching business in India on the digital platform, and there you were. So that's how I joined the
Right.
digital coaching system.
So actually, Smita started with us in digital coaching, where we help people to establish themselves as digital coaches online. And she started with the life coaching part for teenagers, especially an online program, which is amazing. In fact, now you've also finished writing your book. You're a successful author now. Why don't you show us your book to our audience here?
Yeah.
Okay, Simplifying Teenage. That's such a beautiful name. Everyone type in Simplifying Teenage, because teenage is such a complicated time, and I can relate to that. I think we all can relate to that because we've gone through that phase. It's so important that someone can help us really simplifying that. So my question is, when you started your digital coaching, you started the platinum journey with us. As you started, what was your experience in the whole learning experience of platinum and your progress with digital coaching? What are the problems that we solved together?
So basically, when I started with digital coaching, I had a website because that was part of my the criteria to get me certified as an international coach. But I had created one. But to the polish about it, the introduction to Kajabi, to create my courses. I mean, we had a lot of discussions, and in that time, we also, this is one more thing which kept me inspired, is because when you said, life coaching for teenagers as a micro niche is still not big in India. So it's gonna be, you'll have a waiting period. So that was there. And Indu actually helped me a lot with setting up my websites. And I think I was among the few privileged people who could actually work with you on a regular basis, setting up my website, learning everything about Kajabi and the Facebook ads, a lot of processes. I could actually successfully build my website. And then again, one more thing that you did, this, like we call it, danda, is basically every time you told me to do something of the website or something, I said, I'll tell my daughter to do it. And you said, no, Smita, someday you have to take responsibility. So I started doing that on my own. Until date, I do everything on my own. I learned it from you. So that was a support, because it was really good. And the challenge was, I was never a person who was comfortable on camera. I can always talk. I can talk to people, everything, but not on camera, not used to it. And that's the time when you actually pushed me, set a date for a webinar, set a date. And within a week, it was like I set a date, put up the first webinar, and then you told me to do 25 webinars in a row. So I did that. People came, don't came. I was not worried about it, but just a commitment. I did it, and I really got good results. And the best part that I got support from you was, the platinum journey was a time when I was in a dip, an emotional dip, because I had lost my dad. And that's the time when you and Indu were really a big support for me, maybe emotionally, yes, but more than that, you drilled me into getting into work. And sleepless nights thinking about him were converted into work, into on the website, put all your efforts there. So it helped me come out of things very fast, rather than dip into depression. So a lot of things happened.
Work was one part of platinum, right? So as you started your journey, how did your emotional frequency go up before and after platinum?
So when I started, yes, emotionally I was down, because I was always a strong-headed person, working, independent, and handling things a lot. But this was a very big thing for me, because for 6 months my dad was suffering from cancer. So I was not working in my anesthesia practice, taking care of him. I was working with my life coaching, but it was just one-on-one. So it was a dip. It was like, you could say, early stages of depression once I lost him. So it was a very big vacuum that created, and suddenly I took on the responsibility of becoming the father for my mother, the person, and that really put me on a lot of stress. But the frequency was low, and trust me, you did not. The platinum formed during our process, so it was like an unexpected thing that you added so many things in the platinum program. So the emotional journey was enhanced slowly, and now I can say I'm back on track, way ahead on track right now with my emotions. It must be I started on a 3, Because you still remember when I had to upgrade to platinum, I had a lot of discussions with you, Mitesh. I'm not in the state of mind. Should I do it? Should I not? But you just said, trust me, we'll go ahead with it. And that's how I started. And the exercises that you made to do, the advanced law of attractions, like the need-based need assessment exercise, the limiting beliefs in the NLP workshops, and all those things, it pulled me up. And till date, the needs assessment is one thing which keeps me on track. Whenever I feel this is my need, and then this is something which is missing, so I know I need to lift that and come back to track. So it's
Amazing.
come up to a 9 right now. That's how I can say.
For people who are listening to her right now, when she's talking about needs, we have these needs in our life, which Anthony Robbins talks about. It's also based on the Maslow's hierarchy of needs. And before where she started platinum, her needs were different. After she started platinum, she chose new needs. So, Smita, what were some of the needs that were driving your life before, and what did you change to later?
So Mitesh, when I joined Platinum, the need was to set up my business. So
In
that
terms
was,
of those 6 needs, what were
yeah.
the
So
couple
it
of needs
was
that were on the top at that time?
the couple of needs that were there on the top were love and connection, contribution, and certainty, and then you can say growth, and then it was uncertainty and comfort.
What's the
Because,
current sequence?
pardon?
What's the current sequence?
The current sequence is love and connection, growth, uncertainty,
Hmm.
contribution, certainty, and significance.
So, what was the one need that stopped you before, which you changed later?
The uncertainty need, because the uncertainty was something which had already happened to me. Being a doctor and losing my dad, I was like, I could have done something more for him. I should that There was a guilt trip which I kept going on, and it had become a pattern. So that is the time I was not ready to take any risks. It was too scary for me. I wanted to be comfortable in my cocoon. I just wanted my space. Yes, love and connection was there, contribution because a life coach, as an anesthetist, I was giving to people. Growth,
Certainly
I
was a
love
difficult
reading.
time.
But
Yeah.
uncertainty was something which I didn't want to take, but somewhere you made me work in that direction, saying, taking small baby steps, that I was ready to take a risk. And
Because
that's one more risk.
growth comes with uncertainty, right?
Yes.
That's where you kind of took uncertainty up on the top.
Yeah.
And now, how much are you able to handle uncertainty in your life?
Anything, anytime. Trust me, today I was discussing with my daughter, and she said, what are you going to say on the interview? I said, now I've become like Mitesh, dekha jayega last month. Because I still remember when I put up my first webinar, it was 3 a.m. in the night, and you had said, Smita, just put it up. And I was totally uncertain. No PPTs, nothing created. I just declared. So it's like you have literally ingrained that thing in me ki now ho jayega. Just put it up, it'll happen. So
Superb. And I love the fact what you just said right now. The best practices right now, we are not prepared. There's no
yes.
presentation. It's just like, but by the way, people who are on YouTube right now, you should know that I and Smita connected just about 10 minutes before the call. We said hi, we said hello. There was no presentation, there was no preparation. We just started talking, keeping it authentic, keeping it simple. So, if there's one lesson that I'd like everyone to learn from this, everyone, please write this down. Handle uncertainty willingly. And the more uncertainty you handle willingly, you actually bring in more certainty in your life. The more you handle change, the more you have stability in your life. The more you run away from change, the more instability actually comes in your life, right? So that was one thing. After that, what were some of the limiting beliefs that you kind of broke and you created some new ones because of which you got speed in your life?
So Mitesh, basically one very big problem which I used to have is I used to have this pain in my left shoulder. If you remember, you had done NLP also with me for that. And it never, whenever I was stressed up, I used to have heaviness in my chest, and I even checked up, anxiety hai, yeah, ECG karalo, everything. Never happened. But once, luckily, I had the privilege of doing a session with Indu.
Hmm.
And she, even before you did the rackets and reflections, she actually did it with me. And she actually cleared that problem so instantly in form of conversation, and it just disappeared like this. And it's been, I think, more than 6 months or 9 months now. I've never had that pain again, and done a lot of things. So rackets and reflections was something which was instant, and that broke my belief. And the second thing was, guilt was a pattern for me. So that also, I started understanding people's perspective, and I started playing my role rather than, creating stories for other people. I just created my story. So that was one more very strong belief I broke. And the another one was, I was very uncomfortable coming on screen. So now I can talk spontaneously. I am okay with talking to people on screen and off screen too. So that's a very big belief that broke, because I am always a private person. So it was a very big thing for me to come out and speak to people.
So everyone, I hope you're taking this learning away. There are two things that she spoke about. One is the whole idea of you're letting go of your rackets. What is rackets, right? We teach in Law of Attraction Platinum Membership. It's about rackets is about complaints. When we have too many complaints in our life with ourselves, with people around us, it manifests into physical pain. So her shoulder pain was not going away for so long, but actually that shoulder pain had something to do with some of her own emotional pain because of the complaints, the rackets that she had with people in her life. The moment she let go of those complaints, and immediately that emotional pain went away, the physical pain went away. So I'm not a doctor. I don't claim that this can happen with everyone, but I know that if we let go of our emotional pain, a lot of the physical pain goes away. How many of you who are watching on YouTube right now, promise me in the chat window that you'll work on the emotional pain so that your physical pain goes away? And the second thing that she said, very important here to learn from her, is get rid of the guilt. Again, the moment you get rid of the guilt, so much speed comes in your life, right? So the moment you let go of your guilt, what was the speed that came in terms of your relationships, in terms of your career? What were you able to take up after that?
Basically, the guilt I had was I had to keep giving to people. I used to always, I'm more of a giver. So I kept giving to people. And I used to feel, I'm still not enough. I am still not doing what I had to do for others, for my family, specifically my mom after my dad, and then for my daughter, my husband, a lot of people whom I was working with. And it just used to pull me down. The moment I gave away all those things, I realized everyone has their own responsibilities, own space. They will do the right thing at the right time, and things will happen at the right time. Then it was nothing about me. So I never used to sit and cry. Otherwise I used to sit and cry at home alone, and my husband and daughter know when I go through those phases. But now that frequency is less, and it just pushed me, because now everything that comes I pick it up as an opportunity. Any message comes from, would you like to do this, or this is something that's happening here, I will be the first person to say yes, whether I am part of it's part of my experience or no. I just say yes to it, and that pushed me up to take a lot of risks and go ahead.
Amazing. So the moment you started all this and you let go of the guilt part, how much time did it take for you to write your book, to build a website and all of that?
Website too, we did it very fast, because we had
Right?
to, in
It was
a
pretty
month.
fast.
Yeah, in a month we finished, because I joined in May, and June I was doing my webinar. So we had done it almost in a month, I guess. The book, it took me time, maybe 6 to 9 months, but the book also is, you start gave that writing a book was a dream always. Being a reader, I love books, so that books are my best friend. But you had given that template to write the book, but still it was not hitting. But somewhere I had to use this word, because my organization's name is Forever Magical Teens, but my tagline always has been simplifying teenage.
Correct.
So that's how I work. And through Platinum only, I met Resina, who's my book coach. So she's also a Platinum member, and from there it was a collaborative effort. She actually gave me the motivation, yes, you can write. And that's how I started writing. And it started as 150 page ka book, chota sa guideline types, ye hona chahiye. But then I started writing, and I realized I have gained so much of experience in this field. And छोटी छोटी चीजें जो घर में problems हो रही हैं family में with my parents and kids and the lives of teenagers, it was sheer experience that I got from my coaching programs, and it just put it in a book. So it just happened. So
What we say in Platinum, that it's actually possible to, achieve 10 years of success in 1 year. What do you think about that? Did it kind of happen for you? If you had not joined Platinum, a lot of these things that happened, would they have happened? How much time that would have taken otherwise?
So first thing is, obviously, with digital coaching, for me to get into net savvy and start this coaching programs, and would have taken a lot of time, because I would have restricted myself. Even before that, my emotional issues would have drained me more. I would have gone into, maybe 2-3 years I would have taken up to come out of it. And making a lot of friends, knowing a lot of things, you training, hands-on training with all your videos and step-by-step guidance. It was really fast, because otherwise it would have taken 4 to 5 years to set myself, to create the awareness that I am a life coach for teenagers. Because in India, parents feel कि बच्चों को हम संभाल लेंगे, बच्चों को किसी की जरूरत नहीं है. So that concept, to break that pattern and get people to know me, to write a book, all these things would have been a 2 to 10 year plan. Maybe book to obviously 10 years में आता, but because for me I would have thought a lot, and वो mindset ही नहीं होता था कि दिमाग में आया कर लो. So all those things. So if I wouldn't have joined Platinum,
it's actually possible to achieve that 10 years of success in 1 year.
Yeah, it is possible. And more of that is creating a community. So we could actually, I've met a lot of friends through Platinum group. And the best part that I liked about the community was, we were discussing 3-4 days back also, if anything, any issues happen, we just say, this thing is there. So everyone does Oponopono prayer and things for healing. So it's part of a community. We came together, and with 2 more members in our community, Disha and Beshu, we started something called a Skillistan, where we are, empowering women and talking about their struggles and all. So all these things wouldn't have happened if I wouldn't have joined Platinum. And biggest thing is I wouldn't have met you and Indu in person. So वो ऐसा dream come true था, because seeing you doing a workshop, trust me, I didn't even come and say hi to you in the workshop, because I felt you were quite up that level. So वो level पे प्रेम and गीता बात कर सकते हैं, मैं नहीं कर सकती types. But trust me, this was one thing which was add-on cherry on the cake for me. And obviously, I feel proud to say, I'm one of those privileged members who will get lifetime access to your one-on-one coaching.
So, a lot of ladies, they say, we don't have the time to learn. We are housewives. We don't have the money to join something like Law of Attraction, learn. What message would you give before you leave today in terms of, especially to women, because a lot of women feel like, I've seen a lot of men, they easily invest in their courses, they easily invest in themselves, but women feel guilty in spending on themselves. And the biggest excuse they have is, I'm a housewife, I don't have the time. What message would you give them?
So Mitesh, when I had to switch from digital coaching to Platinum, obviously there was a financial crunch. So, I had taken, registered and taken it on EMI. So we had this through the credit card. I had taken an EMI. The reason is, as you say, you need to invest in growth, your personal growth. That's something which I have always done. But for women whom I meet very often, parents also, anyone, any woman, and that's what we do in Skillistan also. It's like, you need to invest in yourself. Every time, every woman feels कि बच्चे की पढ़ाई हो जाए, husband को इसकी जरूरत है, and even somewhere, they prioritize buying jewelry and dresses, which they may or may not wear, over the education. It's okay, I don't need it. I know it. I am a mother. Many of the times women say, I am a mother. बच्चों को सिखाते मुझे सब पता है क्या handle करना है, क्या करना है. So that's there. And COVID has actually taught us that, you can stay in the house with 2 pair of clothes without going out. So, more thing that is required is education, and every woman can and has to invest, because this is something which I learned a long time ago, is that we have to grow as a couple. If you're a couple, you need to grow together. So if men are investing, they are growing, and you are not investing in growth or personal growth. So obviously that gap is always there. Yes. And then you say we have relationship issues. You are not vibrating on the same frequency there. So relationships issues hone wale. So we and my husband, Dipankar, we've always been on that growth curve. We read together, we study together. So this is something which we had learned from our mentors, Prem and Geeta, to grow together. So that's something which I say ki every woman should empower herself. Every woman should invest in her growth. And because abhi nahi karoge to kab karoge? And दूसरी चीज है, in COVID there was a lot of financial losses. People expired, women have lost their husbands, and I have seen women who didn't know anything what's happening in the house. So वो सारी चीजें avoid हो जाएंगी, and you are the biggest role model for your children. So if you don't
With yourself,
grow,
then how would they
then
grow? Wonderful.
yeah, how will they? So I have I have always grown with 10 years आगे का सोचो, वहां तक अपनी knowledge को लेके जाओ, then you know that you are at par with your child now.
What I loved the point that you said right now, and everyone should really write this down in the chat window right now. Grow as a couple. I think that's such a beautiful point that if you as a lady, you're not going to invest in yourself, you're not going to work on your self growth, and the husband is there, that gap is always going to build that relationship issue. But if you keep vibrating at the same frequency, the couple grows together. So grow as a couple was the best point I think we all take away today. Thank you so much, Smita. That's been an amazing experience talking to you, learning about your experience, learning about your journey, starting from zero, creating your website. Literally, I remember you built it with your hands, with your daughter, wrote your book, published your book. Today, successful as a teenage coach. I think you've also spoken on TEDx, right? So
Yeah,
spoken
I've been invited for as a guest speaker on a small event in TEDx, but looking forward to that was one step. So looking forward to going for a bigger event now.
Yes, looking forward to all that success with you. Everyone, please type in congratulations. And I'm pretty sure that Smita is going to meet us one more time next year again, where we'll not just talk about 10 years of success in 1 year, maybe another 20 years of success in 2 years. So looking forward to more success, looking forward to seeing that symbol of national bestseller on your book by
Yes.
next year. Done. And anybody who has teenagers, and if you really want them to have life coaching, this is the person to contact. Contact Dr. Smita. We'll also leave her website in the description of our video below. So lovely talking to you, Smita. Very inspiring. Everyone type in inspiring in the chat window before we leave today. As usual, I'll see you again next week, everyone. And those of you who really want to learn, how do we really achieve this 10 years of success in 1 year? What do we really mean by platinum? What really is the platinum program? How do you really join? What is included in the platinum program? If you're curious about it, come and join me today evening at 6:30 p.m. This is the link. It's miteshkhatri.com/platinum. When you register over here, you'll get a Zoom link, which you will get from on your mobile number as well as your email ID. Make sure you put your mobile number correctly with only 10-digit number, no +91 or 0, so that I'll see you today evening at 6:30 p.m. And we'll talk about how do you also, just like Dr. Smita, also achieve 10 years of success in 1 year. Once again, thank you, Smita. Looking forward to meeting you one more time in another interview next time. Take care.
Thank you, Mitesh. Thanks a lot. Thank you.
Thank you, everyone. Bye-bye. And type in inspiring for Dr. Smita one more time.